I love Valparaíso. All that you enfold, all that you radiate, bride of the ocean. A declaration of love poet Pablo Neruda wrote to the port on the broad sweeping bay that embraces the Pacific, and to the ships anchoring here after a long and in the past often dangerous voyage. As dawn breaks, the sounds make themselves heard, which in the course of the day swell to become a symphony. The call from the sea, the echo from the hills, and a melody which, in such diversity, is heard nowhere else in the world, the clatter of the funicular lifts. Valparaíso, Paradise Valley, is the name the Spanish gave to this narrow coastal strip which they first visited in 1536 and later colonized. In those days, coquito palms grew on the shores of the protected bay. Today, containers are stacked here. Valparaíso has become a major transshipment center. 5 million tons of goods are discharged at the port every year. The streets leading down to the sea are steep. Indeed, the rows of buildings almost seem to flow down the hills, which are separated by deep clefts. Valpo, as the locals lovingly refer to their city, was built on 27 hills known as cerros. What a hilly, dishevelled head, Pablo Neruda once exclaimed. The houses, huts and other buildings seem to spread in profusion on the slopes. Some lean boldly over the drop, clinging on as if by nothing more than a little finger. The vitality of this city and its people is a source of poetic inspiration. I gazed upon the flame of life of the hills, upon each house that hovered there, upon the heartbeat of Valparaíso. Located at the foot of the hills is the Iglesia La Matriz, the oldest church in the center of the city, which doesn't actually possess a center, just diversity. The church, where the European invaders erected the cross, used to be the heart of the Spanish settlement. Mingling with the street noise is the laughter of children and the sound of dogs barking. The broad square beneath the church tower, the focal point of life in the city, often a little breathless, but steadfast, in poetic language overflowing with life. Games and fights. Nowhere in the world will you see as many dogs as in Paradise Valley. Life characterized by growls and laughter. There are no really old buildings in Valparaíso, which has been struck repeatedly by earthquakes, and each time the city was rebuilt, it was modernized. The Ascensores, the funicular lifts, are a symbol of technical progress and the hallmark of Valparaíso. It costs just a few pennies to travel up from the station down in the valley, and with some of the funiculars, the trip down is even cheaper. Progress from the past, but still fully operational and classified as a historical monument. El Paral is one of the oldest, steepest and most attractive of the Ascensores. Nowhere in the world has this form of transport become as natural as in Valparaíso. The El Paral funicular leads up to one of the city's most remarkable buildings, the Palacio Barbariza. A century after they were introduced, 15 of the original 30 Ascensores are still in service, although their drive systems have been modernized. The Palacio Barbariza represents the zenith of Art Nouveau on the Pacific coast. Built by Italian architects on one of the city's finest vantage points, it was completed in 1916, at a time when in Europe the First World War was raging. The Art Nouveau villa on the Cerro Alegre bears the name of its former owner, who became wealthy through the saltpeter trade. When the renovation work has been completed, the Palacio will be open to visitors as an art museum. Here, the climb up to it looks like child's play. On their voyage of discovery, school children plunge into the fantastic world of graffiti on the Cerro Alegre. Horror and humor, irony and colorful dreams. Walls covered with the unbridled language of the imagination. The Cerro Alegre and the Cerro Concepcion are the heart of this UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hills in a frenzy of color, external expressions of inner feelings, full of zest for life. You won't find any architectural style here that has made history. Characteristic here is the uninhibited use of color. You are a rainbow of manifold colors. Valparaíso, you great port, is how one song describes the richly colorful townscape. Naturally, not every color is bright. But here too, flaking and rusting hues are part of the rainbow. Valparaiso, the city of 27 cerros with its steep streets and even steeper alleyways, offers stunning panoramas. But the climb to enjoy them leaves many a person breathless. Often the only way up is via one of the countless and almost never-ending flights of steps. Daily exertion for the locals, which moved poet Pablo Neruda to ask, how many centuries of striding up and down?
Yo les quiero contar lo que he observado para que lo vayamos conociendo.
You are a rainbow of manifold colors. The quality of the light changes. Sometimes when the fog rolls in from the Pacific and settles in the bay, the rainbow is veiled. Then the pale pastel shades reflect Valpo's other face and the soul of its inhabitants, a melancholy that is a constant undertone in the seemingly cheerful music. Today, the coastal strip and the crests of the cerros are home to some 300,000 people, descendants of the Spanish conquerors and European immigrants who, nearly 5 centuries ago, took possession of a paradise valley inhabited by Indians. Land inheritance disputes, it seems, don't exist here. Valparaiso has been declared one of the world's treasures, part of the heritage of mankind, not because of any architectural splendor, but because of its unmistakable, bold development, its cosmopolitanism, its economic dynamism, and the openness of its inhabitants to the realities of life. There's no mistaking the sound heralding the trucks which deliver propane bottles. Each supplier has his own specific melody. They all pass the old prison. Once a grim place, its walls have since been decorated with colourful images. Graffiti as a curse on feared, merciless overlords. Drawings of the deformed, victims or culprits. Grotesque references to the rule of the military junta. Only rarely does it prove possible to tear off the masks of those in power. Murals lest the world forget. Even though the paint is peeling off, the inhabitants of Valparaiso do not live in some memorialist vacuum. It is not only architectural history that is omnipresent here. Shattered window panes, collapsed roofs, destroyed walls. The eyes of the poet also noted the decay. Neruda, a chronicler of his feelings for this city, passionately described its body and soul. Valparaiso, you blemished rose. Steel cables 25 millimeters thick haul the cabins up to a height of 70 meters, and it sometimes seems out of everyday life and up to heaven. When 70-year-old Carmen Corena steps into the little cabin on her way to perform at the Cinzano Tango Club, for the few minutes in which she's transported downwards, the past and the present seem to merge. And her thoughts resound with the melodies of songs she knows will bring her into harmony with the feelings of her audience. Carmen the singer is only one of the 20,000 passengers who use the 15 Ascensores each day. On arriving at the bottom, she'll once again start singing the songs which are an integral part of the symphony of sounds of this city. Our invisible companion, the poet Pablo Neruda, seems to be calling after us treasure seekers. Valparaiso raised its 1,000 eyelids, which trembled. The air of the nocturnal ocean forced its way into my mouth. The lights on the chains of hills.